We saw
Hi.
massively emotional scenes as families were reunited. And we take that quote and put it to you now from Biden overnight. Do we believe that this could be extended, this pause, to allow more hostages to be released at this moment?
Hi. Yeah, let me just correct you a bit. It's not militants, it's terrorists. They snatched kids and moms and elderly women and men from their home, from their private home in their pajamas on October 7th, killing, murdering some of them. Some of the moms and the kids that went back yesterday actually learned last night that the husband and sister were murdered, raped, and they're beheaded. So it is a terrorist that did that. We think that the Israeli government said last night they hope for an extension, which means tonight will not be the last night of releasing of these people who were kidnapped. It means that in the next 3 to 4 days, we might see another groups of 10 to 12 people each night, probably until the number will reach 80. The Hamas and other terror organization kidnapped 240 people. So when we will reach 80, we'll still have, huge amounts of people that are still in captivity, civilians, elderly. They decided that they are not bringing back any men because they consider even a person at the age of 85 to be an Israeli soldier, and thus he is obliged to be kidnapped from his home. Those people are elderly, as you can imagine, a community near the border. It's a village community. It's agriculture. Those people did agriculture for their entire lives. They need medicine. They also captured and took people at the age of 50 and 60 and 40 who did nothing to anyone. And only because they are males and not females, they're going to be held in captivity. I don't know for how long, because as you all know, the Hamas terror organization kidnapped people from Israel in the past and held them for 4 or 5 years. So it's really horrific. And as I told you, one of the babies, or the toddler, went back yesterday. She just turned 4 on Friday. She went back to learn she didn't have to learn that because her mother was murdered while holding Abigail, and then her father took her from her mother to be shot in the back. So she saw both her parents murdered in front of their eyes. She ran to the neighbors. The neighbors then were kidnapped, a mother and 3 of her kids, and Abigail, the neighbor. So Abigail, who is 4 years old, she has a brother and a sister, 9 and 6, who were hiding in a closet for 10 hours, being on the phone with the medical team. And only after 10 hours, they were released from this horrific scene. They're all now staying with their uncles, and they don't have their parents. Another mother was taken with 3 of her kids, while her husband and elder daughter were also murdered in front of their eyes. They knew of the father murder, but they weren't sure of the other daughter murder, if she was survived or not.
That's just awful.
Another
Tal,
elderly woman.
Sorry to interrupt you there. Can I ask about other hostages who were taken not by members of Hamas, but by other terrorist civilians? I believe there's been some confusion over who has been taken by whom, and indeed how Hamas can actually identify these people and locate where they are in order to be able to release them.
Yeah, right. So one of the hostages that was actually released on a Saturday night, I think, her name is Hannah Katsir. She was believed to be by the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. That's another terrorist group. They released a video of Hannah about 10 days ago, saying she's held by the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. And then they said in a statement that she was dead because of Israel's bombardment or something like that. But then, surprisingly, on Saturday, she was released. It meant 2 things. First, that Hamas can reach the Palestinian Islamic Jihad and bring back an elderly woman at the age of 80-something that they were holding, and B, that they were lying. She was not dead. The problem that is, we know that the Palestinian Islamic Jihad is holding at least one kid at the age of 13, because his video was also released 2 weeks ago. His name is Yagel Yaakov. And this kid is believed to be held by the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. And now that we know that the Hamas can reach them and can bring people from that terror organization, we expect them to bring all of the 40 kids. So up until now, I think we've seen around 30 kids. There's need to be more 10 kids, and other women, of course, women and elderly women, and all of the women. The Hamas will not release 5 Israeli female soldiers, and also they're also holding captive other Israeli male soldiers. So we don't know the number of the exact soldiers that are being held captive. And other than the soldiers, obviously.
I'm gonna have to jump in as well, not to finish you at all, darling. Really appreciate being on, and completely agree with you, by the way. Of course, Hamas are a terrorist group. I've been banging on about that since its horrendous genocide started. We thank you so much for the update.
Thank you.
And I think we just all hope that these hostages can be released as soon as possible. Thank